3, 2, 1, Larry.
Hello, folks. Welcome to our Big Idea podcast. We have the pleasure of having Keith Shrader on with us. Keith, how are you today, sir?
I am doing fantastic, Larry. Thank you guys so much for having me on. I really appreciate it.
You know, we appreciate the people in our industry. We love to get a chance to talk to them and have a little bit of fun with them. So for anybody that doesn't know what you do and how you do it, tell us, Keith.
Well, I'm National Director of Sales for Agile Auto. Now, Agile Auto is an intelligence platform. We lay on top of dealers' IMS and DMS, and we bring in local market data to where you can get an accurate picture of how your store is actually performing against your own goals and against the market.
Now, hold on, Keith. That was too technical, and since I'm best buddies with John Ellis, what Keith just said is we find you the right inventory at the right time so you can make money.
I understood it.
I understood it too. So,
I rest my case. Now you know who you're dealing with, Keith.
Okay, all right.
Guys and one guy that can't work his garage door opener.
All right, so I'll get the crayons out. We'll start coloring here in a minute. And
now you're back in my realm.
There we go. There we go. No, we're an operational platform first, so we're going to help dealers make decisions quickly, speed to retail. All right, we're going to show those dealers their goals. How do you eat an elephant, guys?
One bite at a time.
Exactly. So we break their month down by day, and we show them this is what you have to do to win today. If you win today, guess what? And we win enough of the days this month, we win the month. So then we go and say, okay, your inventory isn't supporting what your goals are. Here is how we need to change it. And we bubble up all of these recommendations. It is not data for data's sake. It is data that is actionable intelligence.
Very, very cool.
It is cool because I don't know any dealers right now that don't understand that the manufacturers can make you completely insane. That to control your business, you have to have an incredibly strong, pliable, and quick turn inventory for used, pre-owned, and a strong fixed operations, which can even tie in because, Keith, you well know that if you get the cars in and out of the shop quick enough and you get them on the lot quick enough, and if it's the right pictures and the right marketing, you're turning your cars.
100%. You have to have the inventory that your market wants, whether it be affordability is the biggest thing you're after, whether it's the right make, model, trim, whether it's the right mileage band. You have to have those things. We call it the legs on a stool. If you knock out one of those legs, how long are you going to sit there? Not very long. So that is what we do. We bring that right to the dealer's attention every single day. It is in their face, and the dealers that we have on are doing great. And when you look at, and they're growing, I mean, we take well-run operations and help make them better. We take maybe not so well-run operations and make them run better. We're here to help in any way. And the only thing we're doing is we're showing it to them, we're making recommendations, and we talk to them at least once a week. Hey, how's it going? What can we do? Here's what we're seeing. All right? Bringing that kind of assistance in, because sometimes a second set of eyes is more valuable than anything.
Well, and particularly in our industry, because you often hear people talk about, like, for instance, their culture. Mm-hmm. And I always feel like putting my arm around them and saying, I believe you. But have you had somebody call your dealership lately and try to make a service appointment? Have you looked on your own website to see how many broken links there are, or the fact that the pictures of the cars have snow on them and it's July?
Right. Well, and guys, we in this business have fought that forever. I mean, how many times? I mean, when I was in the warranty business, if I had to take a phone call, I walked outside. And when I would walk outside, I did what I always used to do on my own lot. If I saw trash, I picked it up. And I would come in carrying these huge handfuls of trash, and they're going, "Where are you getting this?" "Off of your lot." They hadn't even been on their lot. So, and that was years ago. So, we've been fighting this for a while.
So Keith, let's drill down a little bit more with what Agile helps. We all know now that the dealerships need to do something. They're starving. They need inventory. Can you kind of share when you come into a store, like what you guys kind of look for and how you start to bridge what they've been doing to a more practical approach with what you guys are recommending?
Absolutely. One of the first, it all starts with acquisitions, guys. We have to have the right number of vehicles on the lot to be able to support our sales pace. And when you go on Agile, the very top row is nothing but acquisitions. All right. We give you, hey, this is how many cars you need. This is how many you need to buy today direct from consumer. Here's how many you need to go get from the sale. And then we also provide your preferred vehicle buy list. So these are vehicles that we're just not picking at random. Our system is looking at their DMS data, and it is crunching all of these numbers. Guys, you know as well as I do, these massive groups, they have rooms full of people that do nothing but put data together. All right. Well, we are showing a lot of these companies that we do it better than they do. So we're able to give them this preferred vehicle buy list. So it's a rolling 120-day list. And a vehicle doesn't just get put on there, it earns its way on there. So it has to meet or exceed your gross targets, your turn targets. It has to have sold multiple times in that year range, make, model, and trim for it to get on that list. Those are your cherries on top. These are the things that I do really well with. We also bring to light a market list. So they see everyone that is in their market, and they see the top 25 vehicles that have been sold in aggregate. And then we show them, how many of these did your store sell? How many of these do you have on the lot? If you've got zeros in both of those, that's a market opportunity to grow your market. And we've been doing it now for 4 years in market. We've really started getting some fantastic traction the last couple of years. And a lot of it is because of outlets like yours bringing our message to the people. And golly, guys, we really appreciate it. I sounded like Opie Taylor there for a second. Sorry.
You sounded good. I had the pleasure. I was one of those waterlogged people in New Orleans. Oh. And I got a chance to hear John Ellis talk about it. I had been involved with him on his electric ventures, and J.R. Toothman was down there. Mm-hmm. Frank Knox was down there. Heck of a group of guys. A lot of expertise, assembled in one spot, and a bunch of people that are all in the industry and all care about the industry.
Absolutely. When you look at Agile Auto, one of the things we like to say is it was built by dealers for dealers. So everything you see on our platform has been pressure tested in the wild. All right. We have seen, we have worked, we have done so many things improving our platform. One of our latest improvements is the Agile Vehicle Analysis with VIN level intelligence. We're able to take a VIN number and tell them within a very fine margin of error what that vehicle is going to be worth in 30 days, 60 days, and 90 days at the sale. All right. It's the closest thing I've ever seen in this business to a crystal ball, and it works. You know, it's all based on MMR, and, you know, people can love MMR, people can hate MMR, but the thing of it is the industry standard. It is the yardstick everything is measured by. Why wouldn't you want to know the inventory that you're trying to bring in? Do I need to price this for velocity, or do I need to price it for gross? Knowing what this thing's going to be doing at the sale in 30, 60, 90 days is huge. And then even on the same page, we give you your history with it. We're able to show you what has been your level of success with this vehicle. And this is going to be near and dear to your guys' hearts. What's the probability of finance? Okay? How much of us, I mean, all of our dealers, all of our friends in this business, we all know that the market has moved to the back. That's where the money is. So we have to, you know, if I've got a vehicle that's only got a 40% chance of finance on it, I'm probably not going to step up in it as deep if I'm trying to trade for it. If it was a vehicle that had an 80, a 90, 100%. Because whatever that average is for that car, you know, I can, if it's a high probability finance car, I know I'm going to at least get a shot at getting my money back.
The data today that you're capturing is so important. And what I'm learning, I was on a call earlier this morning with a guy from Local IQ, one of the marketing, and we were looking, and that right now in the greater Hartford market today, they can see 25,000 active shoppers. They can see that today. So now that you guys can see the used car market, that is a crystal ball. And what I see is the traditional dealers are still doing the traditional things slower. Mm-hmm. They don't have an idea. I was in a used car dealership. Oh, the owner's not here. Where is he? Oh, it's Tuesday. They get to go up and look at the vehicles that they want to bid on Wednesday. And I mean, okay, so his time, he goes to the auction, he looks at some cars, then he goes back the next day and he's trying, oh, by the way, he's not here to appraise anything that happens. And they just haven't been able to get themselves out of their own way. And now it's beautiful because you guys built the science. And it's like, here's how you get in shape. You follow the rules. You get rid of the stale inventory. You don't let the guy who's buying it because he likes cars. And it's amazing that Wednesdays, nobody does business in Connecticut. I don't know how if it's the rest of the country. It's like the used car managers at auction, and they're usually hiding or looking to get a round of golf in the afternoon after the auction is, and there's nobody to appraise the car. So now you guys are just putting the intelligence back in. You know what these cars are worth. The intelligence, if it's here's the miles. I was saying it. How cool would it be if a dealership needs an appraisal? They go, they take a few pictures, they throw it on the system, the used car manager opens it up, and they can put a number on it wherever they are. Mm-hmm. Well, you guys are educating them every day, every trade, everything. So it's great that smart people built stuff like this. So if John, I know you're watching, thank you. It's good stuff. And
I will tell you this. I am standing on the shoulders of giants. Okay. That's why I look so tall.
Hey, they proved it, though.
John Ellis is going to be so proud that you called him a giant.
Or maybe intellectual giants.
I can live with that. You know, prior to penicillin, if you had an infection, they cut your leg off or you died.
Correct.
Then they came up with penicillin, and a whole lot of people had both legs and didn't die.
Correct.
When things get better, technically, when there's breakthroughs, to not use them is kind of inexcusable.
Right.
Because, I wasn't the first to say it, and Dale Pollock wasn't. Maybe it was Hollinshead. Somebody said a long time ago that you make more net when you sell a car for a $1,200 profit in 20 days than when you make $3,000 in 90 days. So to not be able to turn your inventory, to not understand it, to not understand what you need to bring in, is crazy. It's kind of amazing that everybody doesn't just grasp this. And I know you guys are growing at a rapid pace, but
because it makes sense.
100%. And getting back to your point, Gary, about the slow adaptation of things in the automotive space, guys, we're one of the few industries left that uses a dot matrix printer. Okay.
And they're still handwriting purchase orders.
Absolutely. So, change is the one constant. Change, God, is the one constant, or the constants in the universe. Okay. But the one thing we're all resistant to is change. Every single one of us. And you brought up the V-Auto creators. I mean, I remember when V-Auto came to market, and there was that, and it started to gain traction, and there was all of these conversations around it that it's like, oh, I don't want to do it, I don't want to participate, I don't want to do that. And those guys got left in the dust. And they came on because they had to. And with Agile, we hope to have that impact on the business as well. I mean, we want this intelligence in these dealers' hands because, guys, we love this business. We've been in it our entire professional careers, most of us.
Yep.
And it is, we want this to be successful. We want every one of our dealer friends to be successful. But unfortunately, you can only lead a horse to water. You can't make them drink.
We talk about the last 20 years of how the industry has shifted. And right in front of all of our eyes, we watched dealers build Car Gurus, Auto Trader. We watched them lose to CarMax and the Carvana. And for the dealer, the families, the grandfathers and the ancestors, they're rolling in their graves watching the operations in today's dealerships. But the great news is it's time, and it's a perfect time to take it back. And the dealers that separate themselves right now, they do it right. They care about the community. They do the right things. And boy, is it refreshing now to start to be on that side of the industry after what we witnessed for the last 20 years. It was like they got sold out. They got sold out. They got taken advantage of by OEMs and different platforms and different software. And now there's great companies out there that can say, we're not going to be held hostage by your systems, and we're going to build our own platforms, and we'll integrate with you, but on our terms, because we want the control. The data belongs to us. It doesn't belong to you. That's beautiful. What a wonderful program that you guys put together.
But Gary, you got to understand how crazy our industry is. Think about how dealerships and pay and compensation are slaves to CSI.
Yeah.
Why the heck would you need to talk about CSI? Doesn't every salesperson, shouldn't they inherently understand that if you keep your customer right and stay in touch with them, they're going to come back and buy more cars?
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
So that kind of mentality of where you know what I mean? If I have to tell you, Keith, it's not a good idea to punch people in the face and drive drunk. we're kind of, it's a little hard to get too deep when the essential things that make people human and civil don't exist. We've done so many things backwards in our industry. Keith, I've been doing this a long time, as have you, Gary, Mike. I just trained a bunch of people in Georgia, and I asked them the question I always ask: do you know what car salespeople talk about all day? And they went, no. I said, it's not sex, it's not sports, it's that there's no business. And then when a car pulls up, 3 idiots go, he doesn't look like a buyer, send the new guy out.
Yep.
We got to completely turn around our mentality in this industry.
100%. And a lot of it comes from accountability. All right. You know, you have to have an owner, a GM, a sales manager that is going to hold their people accountable to
number one
process.
100%.
And support their people.
100%.
When you make people feel unessential, they're never going to buy into your program.
Never. You know, it's funny you brought up the car pulls on the lot. They don't look like a buyer. You know, I remember when that happened to me, I was the new guy and I went out and I clocked a real big deal. It's not because I was an excellent salesperson. I was a green pea. It was because I was smart enough to listen to my manager. And Lonnie, I'm talking to you if you're out there.
Awesome.
I was smart enough to do what he told me to do.
Yep. Just listen.
And just listen.
Load my lips. Give me,
100%.
and if it works, I'll do it again. And then if it works again, I'll continue to do it again.
Yeah.
Keith was smart and Lonnie was smart. But to this day, I don't know whether to laugh or cry when I'm in the dealership and I'm all over the place and I hear them say, what do they want? Well, maybe they're here to buy a car since we're a car dealership. No waitress would ever walk up to you after a 20-minute wait and say, what do you want, food?
Well, you know, we were talking about OEMs a minute ago. And, you know, so I interface with dealers and general managers and sales managers all day, every day. And I'm hearing all kinds of, from domestics and imports, we're not getting new car inventory. My OEM is controlling my ability to be profitable. So where can I go to build my business? Well, you can start focusing on used cars. All right. And if you're one of those dealers, please reach out to me. I have a team that will jump in and we will help you with your used car department. That's what we're here to do. Because these OEMs holding us hostage, it just doesn't work. If you're a massive dealer, you get all the inventory. That's just how it works. And if I was an OEM, that's what I would do too. He sold 1,000 last year. I'm going to make sure he gets 1,000 this year.
Keith, I completely disagree with you. All OEMs are helpful. I'll never forget when I said to my rep, I'm not selling enough cars. Well, you need to take more cars. Oh, I see now. Yeah. If we're not watching our own backs, we're in deep trouble. They tell you in an airport, in an airplane, that if the air masks drop and you're with your child, put it over your face, because if you can't help yourself, you can't help anybody else. That's why programs like yours make so much sense, because if fixed in terms of the used cars, a variable in terms of the used cars and fixed in terms of the back, we have the control over that. That is not the OEM. I mean, they can hang us up occasionally with part shortages, but if we have a viable service department, if we attack the retention, again, you'll laugh, Keith, because you're like everybody on the show today. Everybody's been there and done that. Man, I tell every one of them, when you're walking a guy back to service, which you should do every damn time you sell a car. It's like a service advisor should always do a walk around. Your speech is short and quick. If I'm lucky enough to earn your business, these are the nice folks who are going to work on your car. And by the way, we're just as inexpensive as a tire change and oil change anywhere else, but you never void your warranty because we're a factory authorized dealer and we use factory parts. What would that do to retention?
100%. And, you know, guys, most service departments, their number one customer is what? The used car department.
Used car department.
All right.
And they treat them poorly.
Well, but if we feed that beast if we up our sales in pre-owned, we're going to get more throughput through the shop. And so all of this is interconnected.
Yes.
And, we want to sell new cars to where we can get good trades. We want good trades to where we can sell used cars. We want used cars because they need to be serviced. All of these things go together. And Agile brings that to the forefront.
And obviously they can reach out to you with the number and the email that's scrolling at the bottom of the screen.
Absolutely. And I'm going to tell these fine folks that are watching this the same thing I tell my customers. I really don't care if it's 10 o'clock at night. If I'm awake, I'm answering my phone. So call me, email me, text me, whatever.
He's one of your guys, Lair.
Say again?
I said he's one of your guys because that's Larry.
Yeah. Well, that's how I came up in the business. It was just, this is what you do.
Right.
Keith, I learned it you know how you learn more from the people that are idiots than the smart people because you learn
what not to do.
My GM was leaving the store, and the operator said, "You have a call, boss." He says, "Tell him I left." And I thought, your brain doesn't work because if it's a guy with a small problem and you solve it, you're a hero. If you let it fester overnight, he hates you. What if it's a guy that wants to buy 2 cars? The money's burning a hole in his pocket. You didn't take his call? Okay, We'll see if the next guy does.
100%.
Right.
Well,
right. Keith, what I'm taking away is the difference between you as a partner and the vendors that are out there. You mentioned that you guys are car guys. You are car dealers talking to car dealers to solve the car dealer's problem. And that's more of a partnership than a vendorship. And also what I heard was you're contacting them every single week. Talk about follow-up. Hey, what's going on this week? How did your week go? How, if it's bad, how can we help? If it's good, how can we make it better? I mean, this is, SOP, but not everybody's seeing that in the industry on the inside. Is they're cutting a check and they don't hear from them until the next invoice comes in.
Which shows you how much the people don't want more checks. Because when you keep your customers happy, they buy from you. Hey, Keith, we tend to keep this short because we want to get more eyeballs on it. Mm-hmm. Again, this was kind of an easy show for us because we all know John Ellison, and we all know JR. Your reputation is impeccable. You're a gentleman and you've got experience. It's very easy for myself and Mr. Larkin and Mr. Silman to recommend you. Their work ethic is great. The results they get are remarkable. And I just don't think people can afford now to not have the right inventory, know how to turn it, and to use Keith's words, have the crystal ball. So unless Mr. Silman or Mr. Larkin have any thoughts, we can't thank you enough for being on this show. We will recommend we can.
I'd like one final or one last thought. I've been looking forward to having you on here, Keith. So it's been great. It was a great afternoon. What you guys have built is stuff that just I naturally navigate towards. It's solving a problem. It aligns with everything that I've been talking about. So I look forward to learning more. And, for anyone watching in Connecticut or New England, if you want, us to come and visit, we can do that. If you want to set up times to schedule with Keith, as he just said, we were texting last night at like 10 o'clock. I was sending him stuff. So I look forward to it. You guys built a great platform. Looking forward to it warming up this weekend because it's still not warm in Connecticut, boy. I was out there 50 degrees again, trying to do some yard work.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's not getting warm fast. But excellent. Thank you. We'll be in touch, Keith. Michael, as usual. Larry, did you just close another deal?
I did.
Of course he did.
Awesome.
Keith, explain to me just before we hang up, because you seem like a really bright guy. How can 300 million Americans have an iPhone and nobody answers their phone?
I don't know. And you know what? If I had the answer to that question,
yeah,
I'd be a lot smarter than what I am. So,
Keith, we will gladly have you back on down the future to hear how many dealerships have come to their senses and they're using you. Again, on behalf of myself and Gary and Mike, thank you so much for being on.
awesome.
And
thank you.
I will tell John Ellis you referred to him as a giant. me and him stood next to each other, and giant would have been very, very favorable comment for either one of us.
I can see him now. Give that man a raise.
Yeah, look, that'd be great.
All right, guys.
So much.
Guys,
Have a good weekend.
so much.
Take it easy.
Goodbye now.
Have a good weekend.
You too.